What up, my nerds? I'm Ricardo, the roleplay gamer, and I like to party. This is not a review of Guardians of Ember. This is not a review, it's a series of videos I like to do. They're first impressions. That's why they're not reviews. But listen, I play about as much of a game as I can stand, usually about 2 to 3 hours depending on the game and the time that it demands of you. Then I'm going to give you, my first impressions of the game. Pretty standard stuff. The point of the series is either to recommend hidden gems that you might have missed, usually games that surprise me, games I don't expect to like, but end up, really loving, or maybe games that you should steer clear of. So we're returning to the series here, as a means of trying some more things and getting some diversity going. Yeah, so listen, this is Guardians of Ember. This is an MMO action RPG. Right, which was what piqued my interest. Now, I'm not a huge fan of MMOs. I think the last one I played was Age of Conan when it released. But look, the combination of an MMO action RPG really piqued my interest because I think that's really more my thing. And this game, let me tell you, if you ever played, if you remember the sort of flood of free-to-play kind of isometric perspective action RPG MMOs from the early 2000s, listen, this is probably going to give you a dank nostalgia hit, and maybe that's why I like it. Now, make no mistake, before we go any further, I'm not sure I'd necessarily recommend this game, but there's just some... Look, I didn't expect to like it. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I don't hate it. It's really weird. I actually had... I've had a decent amount of fun with it so far. So, you need to understand that this critique, if we can even call it that, is inherently unfair because it's an MMO. There's a lot of content in there inherently, and I've only spent like 2 to 3 hours with it, with a couple of different characters on 2 different servers. So please keep that in mind. But I'm going to explain why I haven't spent more time with it right now. So listen, it looks like there are only 2 servers, one in the US, one in Europe. Looks like the Europe server, the EU server, is based in the UK. Let me tell you, here in Australia, it's not working for me, alright? It's a real laggy experience. I believe it's just because of the server location. Otherwise, the game, it seems to run actually surprisingly well. So, you need to be aware of that. If you're outside of the US or Europe, it's probably a hard no, because it's not going to run very well, unless you've got a tolerance for that sort of thing. Now, that being said, what do I like about it? Alright, I actually like the action RPG elements. It's lag aside, and I feel like I'm a fairly good judge of the difference between server lag and actual poor performance in game, and how responsive the combat is designed to be, if any of the words in that past sentence actually made sense to you. But listen, I feel like it's actually a pretty tight experience. It's certainly slower, and I believe the devs have noted that it's meant to be slower because it is sort of server bound, which makes sense to me. But, still, here in Australia, it's still laggy. Of course. I'm not going to take points off for that, though. That's, you'd come to expect that. Anyway, so I've actually quite enjoyed just running around killing things. So turning my brain off and just going for it. I'm a Arcanist, I think, the Arcanist class here. Dwarf. You've got 4 races. You've got a dwarf, human, elves, and a weird little girl race that gives me the fucking creeps. I wish they'd stop doing that, because it makes me feel really weird to even play a game that has that sort of shit in it. But look, if you're into that, I'm not even going to finish that sentence. But that's what's in there. And it just seems really out of place, and I think that's perhaps my biggest issue with it, is just that race seems out of place, because the game seems otherwise like a fairly generic fantasy world, and I don't mean that negatively. I like the sort of atmosphere of the world. It's a little dark without being like full totes grim. It's not like Path of Exile sort of macabre sort of stuff, but the sort of color palette, the lighting, the general atmosphere, it's a little darker. It's, I don't know, it kind of feels like freeware free-to-play Diablo in an MMO. It's essentially what we're talking about here. In terms of classes, there are 6 classes. There's like the Arcanist, Warrior, like Dark Warrior, Knight, or something like that. Warriors or... Listen, I should get back to... Listen, by the end of the video, we'll go character creation and I'll show you. I'll show you so I'm not talking out of my ass. Because I don't want to just, like, give you like, oh, well, listen, I think that's in it. But look, so you can dual class apparently at level 15, and this is why I must apologize for not like playing up to level 15 to at least show you that. But look, it's because of the lag and whatnot. And I want to talk about the game, for a couple reasons. I just can't play it anymore. I can't, and it's just because of the server situation. All right, so we've talked about what I like. I like the itemization as well. Early game, I actually like the pace of the game because it doesn't really take that long to level up, and some of the enemies get a little bit bullet spongy, for lack of a better word. As after about an hour or two of play, and that's not great. But for the most part, the early game is pretty snappy, and I appreciate that. And you're constantly getting loot, at least in the early game, loot that you can use, which is pretty cool. So if you have a look over here, there's a couple of odd key bindings, like opening the inventory is B. Luckily, you can rebind that, so I've rebound it to I as well. But listen, once you get used to it, I actually don't mind it, because you hit C and B with the same hand, and you've opened up what you need to open up here, right? So, it's pretty clearly marked as to what's, comparing what you've got on you and what you got in your inventory and which is going to be better, more or less. One thing I'm a little bit confused about is it looks like you can wear anything regardless of class. I think it's just like level restricted. And I'm not sure if there's a downside to that. It might be that later on you'll have... maybe for Arcanists, which is essentially wizards, as far as I understand, you might have, the light armor having, better bonuses specifically for Arcanists, or what, I don't know. But currently, I can't see what downside there would be to wearing heavy armor. Like if we go to, hang on, can we have a look at it? So it's going to lower, hang on, after changing equipment, our healing is going to go down, defense is going to go down apparently, is that right? How does that work? So armor doesn't equal defense, and attack is going to go down. But what does that mean? Look, that confuses me a little bit. I'll be honest with you. Can we just like switch out here? Pioneer's chest protector. Listen. All right. What happened? All right. Let's have a look. What happens to our damage when we switch? It goes down. Okay. And why is our damage up? Maybe it's like, I don't, listen, it's just a little bit confusing there. At a glance, I'm not 100% sure specifically what's going on there. So, the gameplay loop is very, I suppose, action RPG-y. Just, it's a little more, at least in the early game, it's a little less sort of hub town sort of focused, and a little more you're just like passing through the areas, which I don't mind. I suppose that's the kind of MMO influence there, and you do occasionally see people running around killing things around you, which is that's kind of cool. There's not a hell of a lot of people. It has mixed reviews on Steam, so listen. Be aware of that. But look, some of the reviews on Steam have said such things as like they take the worst concepts from MMOs, and I wouldn't disagree with that. For example, respawning enemies. I haven't got a problem inherently with respawning enemies, but listen, I wonder if I'll see if I can at least show you, example of that. Oh fuck, am I gonna die for the first time ever? This will be the, no, maybe I can get out. You can jump as well. It's kind of useless because you can't jump over, like, hang on, can we jump over this? No, you can't. You can't do it. Listen, I don't know about that. But look, the respawning enemies, they respawn real quick. Like, real dang quick. It's kind of messed up. Am I lost? Am I real super lost? I think I might be. Alright. Let's take out these guys and we'll wait. See how long it takes for them to respawn. While we have a little bit of a chat here. Alright. Grab a fighter's axe. Alright, I'm just gonna hang back here. How long does it take? Look, it's gonna make a liar out of me. You mark my words. But look, listen. Respawning enemies. Okay, firstly, they respawn real quick. Secondly, it's got the whole deal of, like, quest bosses. You have to wait for them to respawn to finish quests. Which is terrible. But then not so bad because enemies respawn so quickly. You know what I mean? It's just really, really weird. And look, I want to hang off. There we go. Hey, look, they've just respawned. Now, were those the same guys that I just killed? I'm not sure. Let's kill them again, and let's see what happens. Are we gonna get? Maybe are the spawns semi-randomized? Let's have a look. We'll just hang back. I'm gonna heal so I don't get ganked. So you got heal on Q and E. You know, appreciate that. But listen, I want to talk about MMO action RPGs because there was like an epidemic of them in the early 2000s, right? I remember one in particular, you know, 2D isometric, that it was like you picked a side between, hey, look, then now they're back, right? That was real quick. That was real quick. It's a little disturbing. Yeah, so you picked a side between vampires or vampire hunters, and look, I don't know if it was good, but I really enjoyed it as a kid. I want to see that come back. I really do, because I think it can be an interesting genre. You know, and look, Path of Exile. Look, it's not really an MMO. It's not. It's like, well, it's about as MMO as Guild Wars 1 is an MMO, I suppose, because I guess it sort of functions fairly similarly with the instancing and whatnot. But look. Listen, let's have a look at skills. All right, I actually like the skill system. So you know, you essentially just putting points in stuff linearly here, but you know, on these nodes you've got a little bit of a choice. Like for example, for Ice Spear, which I think is my basic left click attack. Arcane Spread, no, it can be. It starts out as your basic left click attack for the Arcanist or whatever I'm playing here. So look, you've got this choice on the node. The first thing you click here, attack speed bonus plus 0.7% or healing power bonus plus 1%, right? So you choose between one or the... What did I just do? Arcane Spear? Oh, had I not leveled that up previously? What, did I just learn a thing? What's going on here? Hold on. I need to see what that does now. Arcane Spear. Deals 65% energy damage to all enemies in its path and heals yourself and others by 55% of your healing power. That's pretty cool. Alright, cool. But look, you got a little bit of a choice there, right? I appreciate that. So, like, straight off the bat, you've got a, you got a little bit of difference from someone who might have picked the other one. It's not a huge difference, like 1% or less than 1%. But look. Hey, that's unfortunate. Calm down, guys. Calm down. Don't even... Look, that's terrible. But there are some interesting skills here, like this Arcane Twilight, which basically sends out a couple of energy testicles and smashes everyone. I appreciate that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But listen, let's get out of here. Return to character creation. Character selection, rather, even. Let's do that. Can we do that? You can't do it while in combat. Alright, so can I get out of here, dude? Dude, but I'm not in combat? Alright, hey, here we go. Cool. Dwarf. Dwarf is cool. So let's create a character here. Oh god. See, let's not do that. That gives me the creeps. I'm sorry, it does. You got, dwarves, humans, elves, that other thing. Dwarves can only be male. It's given rise to the belief that there are no dwarf women. And the dwarves just spring out of holes in the ground. Which is, of course, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Let's be a dude. Male, female, you know how it goes. Alright, so look, we've got a knight, we've got a priest, we've got an arcanist, which is what I was playing, we've got an engineer, which as far as I'm aware, I don't think constructs turrets as much as I would like it to. Not that I'm aware. Maybe it does. I don't know. The ranger and the dark knight. There you go. It's all pretty standard. Listen, of course we're missing my favorite sort of shit, like necromancy sort of kind of shit going on there. But look. It's a weird one. It really is. Because I'm like... You shouldn't. You just don't. Like, you probably shouldn't. You can if you want. Look, guys, you can. If you want to do it, you can. It's currently 33% off. If you're in the US or the UK, possibly Europe, I don't know what server performance is like over the ocean there, but listen to me. You can probably have some fun with it. I feel like especially with friends, you gotta have some fun with it. Got a little bit of customization here. Do Jason Statham here. Or is that's more Jason Statham, isn't it? Look, you got your modern haircuts. I'm sick of this shit. I am. Alright. Look, you got all these colors except for like dark brown. I don't want auburn. I want like a dark brown, but that's like the best they got. Look, we'll go purple. Oh, let's not. I'm not a big YouTuber. But look, this is pretty good. You know, you can let's make him as foul as possible. You got squat. We're making a dwarf out of a human. Let's do it. Shoulder height. Shoulder position. A dwarf's forward or back? Nah, I feel like dwarves kind of hunch a little bit. Upper chest. Yeah. Let's really pad that out, baby. Bicep size, it's happening. Bicep length, forearm size. You know it. Palm size. Let's do it. Waist thickness. Why not? All the way, baby. Hip angle. Oh, God. Oh, God. Is this real? Oh, fuck. Best character creator of all time? Yes. Buttock position. I need to know. I need to... Yes! Yes is all I'm going to say to that. 8 out of 8 for character creation. That's 100% good. And then, of course, you name them. That's actually... Look, that's horrifying, but that's pretty cool that it's in there. So, you know, on the whole, let's not go over it too much further. What I want to say to you is... This was surprisingly fun. Am I going to play anymore? No, because it lags like all hell, because I'm in Australia. Would I play more if it ran better? Maybe? Probably not. I like the concept of it. I like the throwback meta there of like the early 2000s when there were all these free, you know, MMO action RPGs. Because I think that's a really cool mixing of the genres that I'd like to see brought back. And I'm glad that there's at least one game that has brought it back. They haven't brought it back in the right way. You know, because they've gone for like old school MMO sort of shit. We need the MMO modernization that we currently have with an action RPG. That's something I could get into. I'd enjoy that. I feel like Klugs would enjoy it too. Kluga, I mean. You know, he's a fiend for action RPGs. Listen, just like make a Grim Dawn MMO, Kluga will be set. Or would he? Maybe the MMO part would throw him off. I don't necessarily want to speak for him. But listen. Can we give this a rating? Let's give it a rating. 8 out of 8? The dankest rating there is. 8 being full dank, right? I'm gonna give it like a 4 out of 8. It's not trash. It's not. You can have some fun with this. I feel like it's competent. That's what I'm gonna say. 4 out of 8, competent. What has this video been? I don't rightly know. But hey, if I helped you in any way, if I entertained you, maybe leave a like, dude. If I didn't, you can leave a dislike if you want. Maybe tell me why. But holy Christ, thank you very much for watching. Taste the game, be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time. Roleplay Gamer, out.